This case, an investigation starting with a call for help. Victoria Lacey, just 25 years old, knocking on a door in a Glendale neighborhood saying she'd been stabbed. It's been over a decade since that early morning 911 call rocked Victoria's family, but they still don't have answers. Her case is one of 5 now being reviewed by the Arizona Attorney General's new cold case unit. I sat down with Victoria's 2 sisters who now have renewed hope and are raising their voices in honor of Vicky.
Another mystery unfolding right now in Phoenix, in Glendale more specifically.
Officers were called out to a home near 47th Avenue in Northern after a woman was found stabbed in the chest and arm.
August will mark 13 years since that early morning when Victoria Lacey's life was taken. Her family left hurting, including her 2 sisters, Kaylee Sharp and Crystal Kennard, who lives out of state. The 2 sitting down with me, sharing more about Victoria's life before she was killed.
She's always been Vicky to everybody. She's my older sister by 20 months. So our early childhood, we were very inseparable. We have different fathers. So when I got older, I went to live with my father. She went to, eventually go on to stay with my mother and then other places. But Vicky was a very fun person. Anybody that knew her knew she was full of life. She was always the life of the party. She had a very infectious spirit. You always wanted to be around her.
Victoria loved to draw. She always, like I said, she always lit up the room. She was like a light bulb that, never shut off. She always made everyone smile, laugh. If someone was having a bad day, their day just turned good because she was around.
I'm more of the reserved sister, I like to be in the quiet. I like my quiet time. And with Vicky, it's always loud and laughter and let's have fun.
Vicky, the oldest of 4, but her childhood and teenage years, according to Crystal, were not easy. When she was just a teen, she went to prison.
Vicky spent a lot of her childhood on the streets, and she made some bad choices. I visited her constantly when she was in prison. We had made all kinds of plans for her start, and I don't think that I realized how big of a transition it would be for her. I know when she first got out of prison, I went and bought her a brand new tattoo gun, and she was going to start pursuing becoming an apprentice at a shop and becoming a professional tattoo artist. Sometimes life takes a curve, and she took some setbacks. But I know that she wanted to make something of herself, very much so. We were anxiously awaiting to see her life take off. She deserved a good start. She deserved so much more than she got.
Take me up to the point where just before she was killed, she was living with someone not far from where this all took place.
So they're down the street from where she was murdered. There's condos, and she was living with a lady. They were roommating together while she was trying to get on her feet. I know that she told me that she was going to try to check into a rehab and get herself fully cleaned up and try to get a good start. And I told her that was a really good idea, and I had invited her out here to Oklahoma and told her maybe coming out here somewhere fresh would give you that start, and she told me she would think about it, and that was probably about a week before she was murdered.
This all happens, and who gets the call? Is it you? Is it another family member? Who do police contact?
I was contacted by our mother, that she had been murdered. My mother was contacted first by the Glendale Police Department and told that Vicky had been involved in an altercation and that she needed to come down to the station. And when we first heard it, we thought, she had committed a crime or something, but we did not expect to be told that she had been beaten and murdered.
I mean, you're just a kid. What do you remember from that time?
And I just remember crying, shutting down, because I remember when she had gone out of prison a few months before everything happened, and I remember when she had came to the house and she just lit up the whole area. It was just so joyful and happiness,
Less than a year after being released from prison, Vicki was gone.
I relived that day a lot. That was a big shock. I can remember my mom calling me and telling me, and I remember the phone fell out of my hand and dropped to the ground. And I know that I screamed at the top of my lungs for about 30 minutes, and I lost total control. Vicki was my favorite person in the whole world, so I felt like a part of me died that day. I'll never forget that moment.
ABC15 on scene that morning over a decade ago, but the question of what happens to Victoria still lingers.
There is no peace. There is no answers. There is no justice for what has happened to her.
A young woman stabbed to death in this typically quiet Glendale neighborhood, and this morning police are asking for your help to solve the case.
ABC15 was there in 2012 with police tape up and more questions than answers in this Glendale neighborhood.
Kim, this woman ran to a home asking for help, but before that, we really don't know what happened. Have police figured anything out beyond that?
Well, Kirk, they still tell us they're in the preliminary stages of this investigation, trying to figure out who stabbed and killed a 25-year-old woman early this morning. Now, she ran up to this house right behind me.
That time, we were told just that she had knocked on a stranger's door and told them that she had been stabbed and that to call 911, and that they called 911 and that they responded, and that my sister was responsive but not responsive. She wasn't able to answer any questions or anything. She was able to give that her name was Victoria and her date of birth, and that she just kept repeating, "Please help me, I don't want to die." And they didn't at that time have any leads to go on, just that they were going to start interviewing like the people that had last seen her.
ABC15 speaking with Vicki's mom later that day.
Meantime, all new at 5 Valley, mom pleading for some information that'll help police find her daughter's killer.
25 and not here. Something had to have happened for somebody to just say, you know, we're gonna do this to her.
I mean, you came to Arizona. You started, just trying to fight for your sister, holding different car washes, things like that. What do you remember about that time?
So I was 7.5 months pregnant with my second daughter. I got the news that she had been murdered on a Monday. I was in Phoenix by Wednesday. And we didn't have any money to deal with this. So me and all her friends got together and started holding car washes and donations. And, August in Phoenix is very hot. And so I just remember standing on the sides of the street asking for donations. And we finally, by holding all those car washes and through donations and everything, we finally had enough money to be able to say goodbye to her.
So after that, it was just like, my mom losing her first child is very difficult, So then I just feel like the family just like crumbled.
Kaylee was just a young child, but Crystal tried her best even on her own to get answers.
The whole time I was there, I was trying to follow any lead I could. I would hear, this person saw Vicki on this day, so I would go contact that person and try to go talk to them, and it wasn't really getting me anywhere, but I was doing the best I could. I'm not, I'm not a detective, but I was trying so hard. There's just a lot of speculation around the case and a lot of dead ends. And a lot of it left me with more questions than answers.
Now in Oklahoma, still left waiting for those answers. The case going cold. ABC15 sitting down with Glendale police to learn more.
Well, what's the motive? Why did this happen? Why did someone choose to do this to Victoria? And based on anything or everything we've gathered, it's unknown.
Have you guys pieced together where Victoria was walking that morning?
So we don't know exactly what Victoria was out doing that morning. After speaking to family and friends, they did mention to our investigators that that was something typical and common for Victoria to do, to leave the home and go on walks.
A canvass of the area revealed about 45 minutes before Victoria was stabbed, there may have been 2 younger men spray painting a car nearby. That information coming from someone out delivering papers, but that person hadn't seen Victoria.
Since 2012, several of Victoria's friends, relatives, family members, people that knew Victoria have been interviewed. They've been interviewed to kind of try to piece the timeline, piece the story of what happened that night, who she was with, what went on, where she went and came from. And it's just a difficult situation because sometimes people don't want to talk. People don't want to talk, and it's very important that they do. They're not being tattletales, they're not being snitches. It's an investigation of a criminal act, a violent criminal act that happened. Someone lost their life. Victoria Lacey was stabbed to death. So it's important that whoever we speak to, whether it be then, now, or in the future, they need to be forthcoming. They need to be honest and truthful about what happened that night, because Victoria Lacey's murderer, killer, could potentially still be out there.
I call the detectives every once in a while and ask, and they tell me, there's no new leads on the case, or we still... The detective told me the other day, which made me feel good, that the case was never closed. It's always an open case until they solve a case. It's just a cold case.
But Vicky's sisters have a new sense of hope. In January, the 25-year-old's case was announced as one of the 5 being reviewed by the Arizona Attorney General's new cold case unit.
When the medics got there, all she was able to share was her name, and that she did not know who had stabbed her.
When you hear the news that the unit is looking at the case, how does that make you feel?
It's like you're not getting the answer, but it's like you're going towards the answer. You're wanting it, but then it's like, oh man, there still ain't nothing. But you still have to have that hope. We'll keep on fighting until we get those answers, because the truth always comes out.
These cases are never closed until they're resolved, until we know what happened. And so we want families to know that they're not forgotten.
The supervising special agent for the state AG's new cold case unit sitting down to talk about the 5 cases they're reviewing. Serving decades with Glendale police, Roger Geisler says he was on scene the morning Victoria died.
I was one of the first investigators, and that is a case where Victoria had some sort of a confrontation on 47th Avenue with an assailant and was murdered. And so that is a case that, again, there's somebody out there who knows. Whether the assailant spoke to a girlfriend or a friend or family or somebody who knows, getting that information so that we can resolve that for her family.
How tough is that case? Because I know people thought they had seen things in the area, but I was thinking 2012, that's before people had a lot of security cameras, ring cameras as frequently as they do today.
Exactly. Technology, again, in 2012 wasn't what it is today. So we have to base our investigation on what other measures, what other things can we look at. Who was in the area, maybe people who live nearby, who know or heard, who may have been reluctant to call the police for whatever reason, may not be now. So we reach out to those people to have them call and give us the information that they might have. And in talking to the sister, because I have spoken to her after our release, and just letting her know that this case is not forgotten. Lacey is not just put on a bookshelf somewhere. That case is still very active, very ongoing. We hope that we get the information we need that leads us in a direction to resolve that and give that sister and the rest of the family the answers that they truly need.
What is the hardest part? Is it the not knowing?
I feel like it's a mix of both. It's hard because it's those answers are out there, but it's am I ever gonna get them? Will I be 60 years old when I get these answers, or are we going to get those answers soon,
I know you said when you walked in, you kind of felt
the emotions. Yeah. I was because I'm actually wearing her ashes right now, so it's I was man, we here, Vicky.
Yeah.
Even though she's always with me, you know, so it's just like, yeah.
She's there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to know Victoria for just a few years because she was in prison prior.
Right. Yeah.
Do you wish that you had more time with her?
Yes, I do. I always think about that, like, man, like, if she was still here, like, you know, like, we would be doing so, like, I would be helping her out, you know, like, I feel like I would have more time, like a time machine so I can go back and redo everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But God can only do that.
You know, she wasn't perfect by any means, but she definitely did not deserve this. So, we're a very strong-willed family. I can promise you that me and my siblings are not going to ever give up on it. I'll never stop fighting for answers. I'll never stop searching. I'll never let it go. And my little sister Kaylee is more tenacious than I am, and she definitely is not going to let it go. I tell myself all the time, Vicky would tell us, don't cry, be strong, it's okay, but keep searching. And so that's what I tell myself every day.
What do you think that feeling would be like to get a call from the detective or police or the attorney general's office and say, we found them, we're making an arrest?
I have thought about this a lot over the years, and think I would be overcome with joy and also feel at peace. I think knowing that she's gone is very hard. But not having the answers and it being a case for so long, I think is more tormenting. You don't get a chance to heal from it. It's just a constant reminder. It's always there. And so I think I would feel so peaceful to know that the torment of waiting, of questioning what happened, for that to be over, I would just feel at such peace. She deserves justice. Our family deserves peace. I just hope and pray every day.
If anyone has any tips on Victoria's case, you are urged to call the AG's office or Silent Witness. We have more information about all 5 cases the AG's office is reviewing on our website. We will cover any new developments here on Arizona Crime Uncovered. Thank you for watching Arizona Crime Uncovered. We're working to bring awareness to crimes where victims are still awaiting justice and also provide an in-depth look at cases still unfolding. Each episode breaks down a timeline of the case, where it stands now, and if any help is needed from the community. You can watch on ABC15.com, the ABC15 mobile app, Roku, YouTube, or any of your other streaming platforms.